Hello everyone, I'm welcome back to Tech Block. Today we are doing a headset review, I suppose. Just kind of giving you my thoughts about the headset, my experience using it, and whether you should buy one or whether you should stay the hell away from this headset right here. So, first of all, I've been wanting to get a new pair of headphones for quite a while, and this is the one I went with in the end. Originally, I was going to pick up the Man of War headset from Razer, which is a wireless PC gaming headset, I suppose. Looks pretty similar to this, but apparently had some problems with build quality, according to a lot of my audience. So thank you very much to everyone who recommended this headset instead, and there was also some recommendations for the Corsair Void wireless headset, and I think there might have also been a few Audio-Technica headphones that were recommended. I think the M50Xs, those I might actually pick up in the future, because they do look very nice, especially the white ones. So for now, this is going to be my, I guess, primary pair of headphones for the PC, but I am looking into picking up the M50Xs as well, as I've heard a lot of great things about them, and they're very popular amongst enthusiasts, I suppose. Just before we jump into my experience using this headset, I would like to mention a few tech specs as well as what you get when you buy one of these. So, first of all, for the package contents, you get the headset itself, of course, the Thresher Ultimate wireless headset. You get a Razer headset stand, non-RGB, it's just a green color on there. Well, the LED is actually not even on the stand. The LED is on the 7.1 surround sound audio hub that has a dedicated Dolby audio button there as well. You also get two USB to micro USB cables that are 2 meters long, as well as a 1 meter optical cable. And then here's a few more tech specs about the actual headset. 50mm drivers with neodymium magnets. Apparently 16 hours of battery life on a wireless headset, which I can actually confirm that. It's probably around 16 hours long. I haven't actually timed it exactly 16 hours, but I've used the headset from morning till night and they've not died on me, so that's good. The headset also operates at the 2.4 gigahertz band. I have had some problems with, not in terms of latency. I think in terms of latency, the headset's actually just fine for a wireless headset. I haven't really experienced any kind of latency with the headphones, which is fantastic, as this headset's very expensive and it's kind of geared towards, I guess, competitive gaming, if not you want a good gaming experience with a wireless headset. So in terms of gaming and latency, good stuff there, no latency. But there were quite a few problems with the signal cutting out, which I've actually found quite frustrating, as it's kind of random and it doesn't make too much sense. Now, I live in a flat here in the UK, and there are a lot of devices operating at the 2.4 gigahertz band. Even in my flat here, I have, I don't know, maybe 20 smart home devices here, just in my flat alone, and there's people, above me, below me, to the right of me, to the left of me. There's a lot of devices operating on the 2.4 gigahertz band right here, so the headset might kind of find some interference now and again, and the signal cuts off. But it only cuts off for around 3 to 4 seconds and then connects right back to the hub. But it is a problem, and I wish it wasn't there. What I found really weird is that even though I'm less than a meter away from the audio hub and the headset, it still cuts off. Yet I could be in the other room, which is maybe 10 meters away, and it works fine. But the range on this headset isn't great. The further you get from it, the more it's going to start cutting out to the point where it just disconnects entirely. So the range, I believe, is actually rated for around 12 meters at most. You probably don't want to be walking around your house wearing these headphones, as chances are they'll disconnect, especially if there's a lot of devices operating on the 2.4 gigahertz band as well. So 16 hours battery life, as I said earlier, I can confirm that. The battery life on this headset's fantastic, has never died on me yet, and I've used it throughout an entire day, and I'll show you how to charge the headset later on in the video. You can connect the headset through an optical connection, which I'd actually recommend if you're on the PC, because this was probably the biggest problem with the headset for me, is that the headset is designed for Xbox. It's kind of advertised for Xbox One and PC, but really it's for Xbox One and happens to kind of be compatible with PC. Now, why do I say that? The headset doesn't support Razer Synapse. It doesn't support Razer Synapse 2, nor the Razer Synapse 3, which at the moment is currently still in beta, but it has no support for any of Razer's software on the PC side. I don't know about the Xbox One experience, as I don't own a console or an Xbox One, but on a PC, there's some problems. It doesn't support Razer Synapse, which is frustrating, as you can't adjust any of the audio settings. You can't turn the LEDs off, for example. Speaking of the LEDs, they're not RGB, as far as I know, because I have no way of adjusting them. They're just stuck on green, and you can't turn them off. You can't do anything with them. They're just always on. And to be honest, I'd rather there not be any LEDs on the headset at all, especially on a wireless headset, just because I can't really adjust the RGB. They're just stuck on green. I'd rather have them either white or just not be there at all, which you might find kind of crazy, as I'm kind of the RGB enthusiast, and I have everything RGB, and I'm obsessed with RGB. But in this case, it's a wireless headset. I'd rather there not be RGB at all, especially because it's just stuck on the color green. I don't want that. Speaking of the color green as well, you can see on the box right here, the headset had green accents all over it. Now, let me tell you, I was not a fan of the way the green accents looked. The headset itself, in terms of build quality, it's good. For £190 that I paid for this headset, it's more than alright, I suppose. There's a metal band on the very top of the headset, keeping it nice and sturdy, I suppose. There's a lovely cushion here for the band, very, very soft. The ear cushions themselves are probably the best I've ever tried. Super, super cushiony. They feel amazing on your ears. The actual like ear cups of the headset, they go like right over your ears and like around them, and they feel great, very, very comfortable. Even though I'm wearing glasses as well, not a problem at all. It doesn't squeeze the glasses onto my head. The headset isn't crushing my head or anything. It's genuinely perfect, at least for my head size and shape, I suppose. So in terms of comfort, I'd probably rate this headset like a 9 out of 10. If you do wear the headset for long periods of time, let's say maybe 3-4 hours in a single session without taking it off, you might feel some ear pain. At least that's what I felt. And also your ears can't breathe that well inside here as well. Well, that might be because it's very, very hot here in the UK right now. I think today we have like a heat wave in the UK, and it's going to get to as high as like 37 degrees, I think, in some areas, if not even hotter. But regardless of that, still very, very comfortable. And the build quality, I'd probably rate it like a 7 out of 10 for the build quality, as a lot of the headset is still plastic. I'd much prefer if the rest of the headset was metal, like the little band here. But I do understand that this is a wireless headset, and you probably don't want it to be that heavy. And speaking of weight, the headset weighs around 400 grams, which is fine for a wireless headset. I have not really had any problems with the weight of the headset, because once you put it on, it's very soft. The headband keeps everything like nice and cushiony for you. Now, returning back to the looks of the headset and the green accents that I mentioned earlier. So, to be entirely honest, I was not a fan of the green accents of the headset. My setup mainly revolves around, I guess, the color black and like RGB, and there's some hints of white here and there. The green accents on the headset that are now white, really, I was not a fan of. Like, it just looked hideous to me. So what I did is I skinned the entire headset. Now, bear in mind that there's no actual skins available online for this headset. I googled it, I typed in Razer Thresher Ultimate Wireless Headset Skin. There was no results, which I wasn't surprised. You know, I wasn't expecting it to be any results, but you know, it was worth a try. So what I did is I picked up a white PS4 console skin. Now, you may be wondering, why on earth did you buy a PS4 console skin for an Xbox One headset from Razer? Now, hear me out. So, because it's a PS4 console, it's just a flat surface on top, I figured there's going to be a bunch of material that I can just use and cut up using some scissors. So that's what I did. I picked up the PS4 console skin, I picked up my pair of scissors, and I began trying to cut parts of the skin and stick them onto the headset. Now, let me tell you, awful idea. I'm not very good with scissors, and the lines are meant to be straight, right? Mine were like all wobbly and stuff, and it looked horrible. So what I did is I figured, right, I need to cut straight lines, and I need a way to do that nice and quick. So I picked this bad boy up. Now, this is like £10 on Amazon. There are much more expensive ones, but I think this is the cheapest one I could find. So this is, I guess, a like precision paper cutter. Now, I'm sure you've seen one of these, especially when you were back in school. So what you can do, you can like put a piece of paper here and just like cut it, and it'll be a nice straight line. And that's all I wanted. So I picked this up for £10. If you want to pick up any of the things I mentioned today, including the headset, the PS4 console skin, as well as this precision cutter for like A4 sheets, all links are in the description down below, as always, through Genius links. So be sure to pick this stuff up if you want to. What I ended up doing is, you know, using this precision cutter as well as some scissors later on to skin this entire headset. Now, it doesn't look perfect. I did an alright job, I suppose. You can still see a little bit of green here and there, I suppose, but the headset itself actually turned out relatively well, and I'm pretty happy with the way I skinned it. So it could have been worse. It wasn't the best, as a lot of this was still using some scissors, because there was a micro USB port, there was 2 volume dials, as well as the power button, and then there's also an LED indicator at the bottom of the headset as well. And I had to manually cut those bits out, which, let me tell you, was tedious, especially when you have like these type of scissors, and you know, you're not very good with scissors. So it took a while, and in my opinion, even though I didn't do the best job of skinning the headset, it still looks better than the green accents that were on there previously. Even though you can kind of still see the green accents, but that's besides the point. It looks better now than it did earlier. And the headset also has a retractable microphone that can pop out like that and pop back in without any problem. Also, it's quite adjustable. If you want to mute the microphone and unmute it, there's a little volume dial here at the bottom of the headset, and if you press it, you'll see a red LED come on at the very top of the microphone there. And if you press it again or you scroll it, the LED will turn off as the microphone is now once again working. And here's a microphone test. Hello everyone, I'm Em, welcome back to Tech Block. Today we are going to be reviewing the Razer Thresher Ultimate headset. Okay, so that was the microphone quality of this headset right here. It's not amazing, but it's also not awful, I guess. It could be better, especially on a headset that costs this much. You know, this is a very expensive headset. The microphone quality could be ever so slightly better, but at least it's not awful, and I'd probably rate the microphone quality like a 5 out of 10 at most. Taking a look at the buttons and controls on the bottom of the headset right here, the one on the right hand side adjusts the volume in Windows, so I'm currently increasing the audio in Windows. If I scroll it the other way, it'll decrease it. If we press the scroll wheel, it'll mute the audio, and if we press it again, it's going to unmute it. And on the other ear cup, we have another scroll wheel right here. However, this one is responsible for game chat on Xbox One and does nothing for PC, but if you do press it, it's going to mute the microphone. If you press it again, it's going to unmute it. And then there's a micro USB port to charge the headphones. It takes roughly 4 hours to fully charge them. Finally, there's a button right there to turn the headset on or off. So if I press and hold it now, it's going to turn off. And you'll see far away in the distance there in my setup, the audio hub is currently flashing on and off, indicating that the headset is turned off. However, if we press and hold the power button again, the LED light on the headphone will turn on, and the audio hub will no longer be flashing green. One thing I really don't like about this headset is the fact that you have to charge it via a micro USB cable. I wish that you could like dock it on something and it would charge itself via wireless charging. Even though that would be slower and less efficient, I'd much prefer that method instead of a micro USB cable, plug it into the headset, or maybe include both charging methods, you know? Either one, whether you want it to charge fast or whether you don't want any cable clutter. However, I've been able to kind of incorporate a micro USB cable into my desk that retracts. There's no cable sag at the bottom of my desk or anything, and when I want to charge the headset, which is every single night, I'll just retract the cable, I'll find the little port here, plug it in, and there you go, the headset's charging. And now there's another problem. You don't know the battery percentage of the headset. There's no way of really telling what the battery percentage is, as the headset doesn't support Razer Synapse, you know? So that is very annoying, but there is a red LED indicating that, you know, it's not fully charged yet, and it's currently charging still. So that's that. Now, because this headset doesn't support any kind of Razer software, and there's no way for you to adjust crystallizer, surround, bass, you know, dialogue plus, any kind of audio settings, you just can't adjust because there's no software for it. Luckily, I found a workaround. If you use the included 1 meter optical cable, you plug one end into the audio hub and the other end into, let's say, the back of your sound card or like your onboard motherboard audio. That's what I've ended up doing. I plugged the other end into like the onboard sound card on my motherboard. I have this piece of software here. It is the Sound Blaster XFI MB3, and this is just a piece of software that came with my motherboard, I suppose. We can enable the Sound Blaster X Pro Studio by pressing the on button here, and straight away we have some settings for crystallizer, we have some settings for the surround, but the surround sound is pretty much fantastic out of the box. You don't really need to even enable this, to be honest. You can also mess around with the bass. And speaking of the bass and sound quality of this headset, to be honest, it's very, very good. The moment I put the headphones on, I crank them up to 100% volume, I enable the frequency protection just so there's no distortion in the bass, and to be entirely honest, I got goosebumps. Like, I played music so loud, it sounded so good, like the mids, the highs, they sound so good. Like, genuinely, I think if anyone would put this on and you'd listen to some like loud music, you know, good quality on like Spotify or something, like damn, I got goosebumps listening to like any song at all. And for gaming, this headset's also fantastic. I played CSGO, I played Fortnite. You can definitely hear the footsteps of the people around you. You can easily like map out where they are. It's generally amazing. It works really well with CSGO especially. But I think that's going to be it for today's video. That's kind of like my review of these headphones, I suppose. They're not perfect, but they're not bad either. In terms of sound quality, honestly, I'd give these like a 9 out of 10. They blew my mind when I put them on. I got goosebumps listening to just about any song that I put on Spotify. And I think that definitely tells you something about the sound quality of these headphones. Genuinely, I think if anyone would put these on, you'd be blown away by the sound quality. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you do want to go pick up this exact headset, there'll be a link in the description down below. And there'll also be a link to the PS4/PC variant as well. So that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in another one soon. Goodbye.